they're not making.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show, episode 193. This is the final episode for the month of July. I feel like we are going so quickly through the months here in 2025. But the regular crew, we got full house tonight. Danny Torres, Jonka Don't Stop, Brandon Hernandez, and Brandon Liguori. Welcome once again, everybody. How are you gentlemen doing?
Who wants to start? I don't know why. Like it was just like it was like.
I didn't want to jump. I didn't want to jump. Doing great though. Doing great across the board. So
I will say, I don't know if you guys have seen, but we don't know for sure. But there might have been a targeted attack at some NFL offices in New York City. I believe it was reported maybe an hour or 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I did see Adam Schefter from ESPN reposted something. Yeah. I think the latest, and I don't want to obviously get that wrong, but I believe 6 are dead.
Yes.
And the gunman committed suicide, I believe.
Yes, on the 33rd floor. There is 2 offices there of Blackstone and NFL, but we do know that the gunman, obviously now dead, was a former football player, not in the NFL professionally, but played football, and he was.
So right here, though. So wait, I don't mean to cut you off, but it says the New York Post reports that at least 5 people are dead and 6 others injured in the shooting at 345 Park Avenue. The suspected shooter, Shane Tomer, not that his name matters, died via suicide. So that's the latest that I saw. That was about 49 minutes ago. So.
Yep. So at this moment, we don't know if he was targeting Blackstone or NFL, but it is in the sporting realm. NFL does have offices in there, so we'll just keep those people and those victims, of course, the officer who was gunned down, in our prayers. But let's get into some football talk. And I can't wait to hear perspective from both Brandons and maybe Jonka on this. But is there a little bit of beef between Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa? This comes off of Tyreek at the end of last year saying, "I'm out." And Tua, at the start of training camp this year, addressed that and said that his relationship with Hill is a work in progress. And saying "my bad" isn't enough after such public comments, and trust needs to be rebuilt through actions and consistent behavior. And he doubled down in that same press conference saying, "I'm just trying to hold him accountable. If this is what we say the standard is, then that is what the standard is, and no one is exempt from it." So is there a little beef there between quarterback and wide receiver?
I honestly have to admit, I was pretty impressed from Tua early when I initially heard that. If this was Tua from 5 years ago, rookie year with former head coach Brian Flores, this is something that you would have never – I feel like Tua's now taken that next step in terms of, leadership. And so I really wasn't surprised. I was surprised hearing that, because the way I took it is, dude, you had January after the season up until July. If there was any beef or any tension, you couldn't fix that maybe during the offseason. Why are we now why are we like a month and a week into week 1 of the 2025 season, and we're basically saying that our relationship is not 100%? And I love to use this, example, but if I have beef with one of my coworkers, I want to talk about it like man to man, face to face, right then and there. I don't want to wait 4 or 5 months from there and be like, hey, why are we not what's the issue? So I like that Tua is taking that leadership role and saying, hey, look, and he did quote it. He said, you can't just say that and then just come back and say, oh, my bad. You can't say something like that, like publicly, basically saying that you want out and then just come back 5-6 months later or whatever the case may be and say, hey, you know what? I really didn't mean to say that. And again, this is a Miami Dolphins team under head coach Mike McDaniel that I feel just feels like there's always something going on with this team. If it's not Tyreek Hill and Tua, it's now I hear that former Dolphins defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. Apparently, there's now more to it. He tried to kiss a teammate on the head, and the teammate took it personally. Like, I just feel like there's always, and not to get off topic here, but I just feel like there's always something with this team. But I'm glad that Tua took that leadership because, again, if this was Tua from his rookie year in 2020 or even like 2021 before McDaniel got here in February of 2022, he would have never stood up in front of local media and said that. So kudos to him, but I'm also concerned, like, that's a big thing now to watch the end of training camp into preseason because is this going to have an effect? Like, that's one of my biggest keys anyway with this 2025 Dolphins season is Tyreek Hill, is he mentally ready? Is he mentally there? Or has he checked out, a year or even 2 years ago?
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now, though. If there was any tensions, I didn't see on the field at all throughout 5 days of training camp. We're talking about Tua and Tyreek. Their connection's still there. We're still seeing highlight reels from training camp. And again, too early to tell, but it looks like the connection's there. Now, in the sense of the offseason, if they did talk it out, if they were like, hey, what do you think you're doing? Why would you say that to the media literally at the end of the year, minutes away when we left the field in New York? I would kind of believe more or less they kind of split different ways, gone to the offseason, not even communicating with another. I don't even think they even worked out with one another before training camp, let alone mandatory training camp. So I believe from what Tua said, and as Brandon mentioned, shows leadership. It shows that he has the right mind. And if there is any tensions right now in that Dolphins locker room, I think it's not just them two. I think it's everyone in the locker room right now. We're talking about expectations on and off the fields. We're talking about distractions. And unfortunately, Tyreek Hill throughout the past 2 years has been the biggest distraction. But again, is there something really brewing between the two of the tensions? I think it's more or less calming down. I think it's de-escalating. What's really probably brewing the most thing out of Dolphins training camp is what we're seeing from Quinn Ewers and what the hell's going on in the cornerback room. I think that's the biggest story right now at training camp.
I know Mike McDaniel did give an update today, I believe, on Cater Kokohu. So if you guys obviously weren't there this past Saturday, he suffered, I believe it looked like a little bit of swelling in his knee was the initial injury. Obviously, we didn't know, the severity of it. But right now, for any Dolphins cornerback to be getting hurt at this time of the year is absolutely brutal. And Cater Kokohu is probably right now your best corner. I mean, I know the Dolphins obviously signed 2 veteran corners, one being a nickel, but I genuinely think, and I just want to, go back real quick to this whole Tyreek Hill thing. I genuinely think, and this is just my personal opinion, you guys don't have to agree. I genuinely think the Dolphins were looking to trade Tyreek Hill this offseason, and there were 0 NFL teams that were interested in Tyreek Hill because A, of his contract, B, maturity issues. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole debacle of a Dolphins season comes to fruition this upcoming season. And obviously it's something that I'm obviously not wanting. But if it does happen, and let's say Mike McDaniel gets fired and Tyreek Hill gets traded, you're going to be hearing a lot of stuff that occurred behind closed doors. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a report that comes out of that there's a report that comes out eventually, months down the road. And it says what I'm saying right now, the Dolphins were looking to trade Tyreek Hill in April of 2025, but because they couldn't find a team who was willing to take that money in his contract or willing to take on Tyreek Hill as a human, as Brandon said, seems like Tyreek Hill is always in the news for the very wrong reasons. So I don't know. Again, I'm just surprised. I'm glad that Tua took that leadership role, but I don't want to get too crazy on this training camp hype because remember, there's no pads. I believe pads do come on tomorrow morning, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't want to jump on the, oh my goodness, Tua and Tyreek look excellent in training camp. I'm not going to base off of 5 practices with no pads on. So,
do you think that Tyreek Hill has reached, Brandon, off of your comments, do you think he's reached a level of someone like Terrell Owens, where at a certain point teams didn't want him because it has become a cancer, or even if you want to go into newer generation and Odell Beckham Jr.?
I mean, when you're on the news for, I don't remember exactly, but didn't he like put his baby towards the balcony?
Yes.
Like when you're on the news for stuff like that, I wouldn't really want you on my team. And I get it. And everyone's gonna sit here and say, "Well, it's Cheetah, and he averages 1,000 yards a season, and he's an elite playmaker." And we obviously know that he's one of the best, and he's probably going to the Hall of Fame. But when you're in the news for things like that, or something with the girl who initially accused him of punching her, I guess, or kicking her, whatever the case was, like he's in the news for the wrong reasons. Do you really want a guy like that on your football team? You already have all this nonsense going around. You have a head coach whose seat is like scorching hot right now. I mean, I don't know. Like I wouldn't be shocked if there's a report that eventually comes out that says Buffalo was, the Dolphins were trying to trade Tyreek to a divisional trade, but the Bills didn't want Tyreek Hill because of maturity of any off the field issues that occur. Like it wouldn't be surprising to me.
I will say, Brandon H, before you go, I will say,
Brandon H, it's like he's getting ready to fire something.
A Terrell Owens comparison is way out of line. Don't do that to Owens.
Hey,
Antonio Brown.
I love T.O. I love T.O. So
look, I think that when you look at Tyreek Hill, and I mean, again, as Brandon mentioned before, maybe the Dolphins were shipping around because, hell, if they were trying to ship out Jonnu Smith because they didn't want to pay him, they went out of their way to pay Fitzpatrick getting $2 million. I understand you free up a little bit of cap space, everything like that for the future, but you give him a $2 million raise. You couldn't give that to Jonnu Smith, your leading receiving tight end franchise, like record-breaking guy.
Oh wait, hold on.
You didn't want to give him for the Pro Bowl.
Speaking of tight, didn't the Dolphins didn't they host Noah Fant today?
Noah Fant was hosted by the Miami Dolphins, Seattle Seahawks.
That tells me right there how much does this Miami Dolphins team trust Darren Waller?
Because the only time
another tight end after just getting a tight end who basically he was retired last year because he was rapping. I was listening to his music not that long ago. Like if that tells me that the Dolphins aren't fully confident in their current type. So I agree with Brandon. Why instead of giving that $2 million to Minkah Fitzpatrick, which again that could be freeing up cap space for a potential Zach Sealer extension. That's been another hot topic of conversation that's been floating around. But that was the main reason why Jonnu Smith is now gone, because the Dolphins told Jonnu, hey, I understand that you want 10, 11, $12 million, but I'm telling you right now, you're not getting that. So either find another team that's going to give you that, but I'm telling you right now, we're not. But the fact that the Dolphins are now hosting another tight end today, that tells me that the Darren Waller acquisition might not be, what people thought it was going to be. Oh, this big splashy move, and he's going to put up 1,000 yards, and he's the answer. Like, you're not hosting another tight end very quick.
They're just playing cheap at that point. They're just playing cheap at that point. I mean, I'm telling you right now, again, saw him playing from the first day of training camp. That might be the only time we get to see him all training camp with him being on the PUP list. But I believe, truly though, I really do believe when it comes to Tyreek Hill, if they were trying to ship him around like they did for most of their players, it probably would have been for a financial reason because obviously the talent's there. He's still wide receiver number 1 right now for the Dolphins. I think no matter what happens tension-wise, I think it is cooling down in that room. I think he'll be ready to go week 1.
I want to ask you guys, what have you seen through 5 days of training camp?
I would tell you 5 different things I've seen through training camp. 1, the cornerback room is nearly as skinny as the wide receiver room right now. Within a span of less than 5 hours, they signed a guy got injured, then they signed another guy, and then let go of a rookie running back to sign another guy. We got 3 to 4 corners, 1 that went to an injury, and a rookie running back that never even had a chance through 3 days within 5 hours. That's how weird the cornerback room situation has gone through. Now, another thing, too, Interesting enough, because I'm seeing a lot of talk right now about Quinn Ewers slinging the ball around, the rookie out of Texas. Zach Wilson, the backup situation. We had this same conversation last year of Mike White and Skylar Thompson. I know it's like, why does the backup room even matter? Well, a team like the Dolphins, when you have Tua Tagovailoa's history, it matters. So I like what I'm seeing out of Quinn Ewers. I like the confidence that Tua is also showing him as a leader. As we said before, his leadership has definitely taken a whole progression going to offseason through this year. So I really do like that. And another thing, too, the pass rush. Bradley Chubb and Lindsey, they are officially healthy. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, all on the line. That's probably the strongest unit that we have right now on this Miami Dolphins team for this 2025 season. I'd love to see it defensively is there. Obviously, the offensive line as well is another thing because Patrick Paul has been good. Mike McDaniels quoted him later on, rather earlier today, that he has to be great because he's going against those guys nonstop throughout practice. Right. So
the real question with this front seven, if Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and Chop Robinson can stay healthy for all 17 games, you're probably looking at a Dolphins team that probably could win 10 games. And I know it sounds crazy. Obviously, Tua's that have to stay healthy for 17 games. But it's very pleasing to see Chop, Bradley, and Jalen finally healthy because we haven't seen Bradley on a field since New Year's Eve 2023. And, Jalen Phillips in back-to-back years has had freaking – I believe the injury last year on Monday Night Football against the Titans, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Jordan Poyer's helmet literally, dove right into Jalen Phillips' knee, and that's how the injury caused him to miss the remaining – so, back-to-back freak injuries. Jalen Phillips was balling in 2023. He was having a career year. And then last year, for a Dolphins season that already turned out to be a disaster when Tua goes down in week 2 on Thursday Night Football. But the real question is, if this Dolphins pass rush can stay healthy, can this team win 10 games? And same thing with this young Dolphins offensive line. We know now that Jonah Savayanea is going to be Miami's starting left guard. He pretty much revealed that during his meet with local media. So you got a young Patrick Paul at left tackle, a young Jonah Savayanea at left guard. Can James Daniels stay healthy at right guard? You have Austin Jackson's coming back to protect Tua's blind side. And you have Aaron Brewer, who he's not on PUP or the NFI list, but I believe Mike McDaniel did say he's dealing with some low extremity, nothing to be too concerned about. But I didn't get to watch too much of his pressure today, so I didn't know if they gave an update. But that was the last thing I heard about the Miami Dolphins center. So if this offensive line can stay healthy, if this defensive line and pass rush can stay healthy, if Tua can stay healthy, are they going to win the AFC East? I'm not going to come out here tonight and say they're going to do that with a quarterback like Josh Allen. But can they maybe sneak into one of the 3 AFC wildcard spots? Why not?
Yeah, and the last thing I would say, though, before we even go on, because I think Jonk would like this a lot. Jack Jones, former Patriot. The thing that really caught my eye, though, his first time meeting with Miami media, he ends up saying this from signing off for the Dolphins. With the talent I got, I shouldn't be on the 3 team in year 4. Spark under me, so right thing on and off the field.
Right.
I don't know if it's a cockiness level. I don't know if it's a competitive level. Again, he's only been here for a few days. But there was also a quote retweet by a Boston Globe member that covered the Patriots while he was on the Patriots that said, weird signing for a team that has leadership issues and discipline issues. So that's another thing I would definitely look
I believe that reporter was Ben Voline.
Yes.
Who criticizes I don't know why, but he loves to criticize Dolphins 24/7. It's weird. It's really weird. He loves to criticize the Dolphins, but he also forgets the fact that Tua Tagovailoa has never lost against the New England Patriots. So it's just weird. It's very weird. It's very peculiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, if there is tensions, I feel like he might be brewing something in the cornerback room, depending where you put on the slot. But those are the 5 things I've seen so far.
I want to shift focus over to my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones was at it once again, speaking at the beginning of training camp. Obviously, one of the top 5 best defenders in the league, Micah Parsons, is up for extension with Dallas. And first of all, I just want to give mad respect to Micah Parsons for being at training camp and showing up to training camp as a professional despite not having that extension just yet. And I don't even think that extension is even close, but Jerry made some comments saying that even if they pay Micah Parsons, it doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to have him because he missed 6 games last year. And then he went on to say, we have the highest paid quarterback in the league in Dak Prescott, and he missed half of the season last year. So a lot of people got upset about those comments from Jerry Jones. But honestly, I get what he's saying. Like, you pay a player so much money, and then you might not even have them because things happen like injury. So I don't know why so many people got sensitive and upset to those comments by Jerry Jones when he's just stating something that I think it's honestly factual. Injuries happen. But I don't think they're anywhere near an agreement. But I do think that Dallas is going to do whatever possible to keep Micah in the Cowboys. I know Micah wants to stay a Cowboy. But, in Dallas, we like to do things the hard way.
Yeah, those comments by owner Jerry Jones was very shocking, really, just from my perspective, because it's with a bunch of media, there, and obviously PR is probably there. Again, he's the owner of a team, so he can obviously say whatever he wants without any repercussions. But that's kind of, my thought was when I initially heard that, I'm thinking, man, what is PR think right now? Because that, like, for you to say that, well, just because if we end up paying him, let's say $30 million a year, doesn't mean that he's going to stay healthy. You're basically like, are you like wishing the guys that are you basically saying, well, he's probably going to get hurt anyway, give it by week 7, and Micah's probably going to get hurt. But I do agree with you, Danny, in terms of being that ultimate professional and showing up. It happens probably to all 4 of us too. We don't get things our way, but we're still going to obviously show up and do the job at hand. I do also I appreciated Micah for shouting out other guys that got their deals done, like Myles Garrett and just other guys at his position that got deals done. Will a deal happen? I'm sure they're already talking, and I'm sure there's stuff going on behind closed doors. But again, with the NFL season and Dallas has the first game against the Philadelphia Eagles, the division team, to start the year. So I'm pretty surprised that nothing has got. But then again, we see the whole situation with Shamar Stewart, the rookie for the Cincinnati Bengals, and how they just got that done. So it was obviously a fight for how much guaranteed money Shamar wanted. So you don't know. There's probably a certain clause in his contract. He's fighting for something. It's obvious. Whether it's obviously, if I'm an NFL player, I'm fighting for that guaranteed money, of course. But look at what they're doing to Christian Wilkins now. They're voiding, I believe, like $35.2 million or something around that range. That's a lot of freaking money. But I'm sure I won't be surprised if something happens before the season starts. And then if it doesn't, then the real question is, is it going to become a locker room problem now?
Brandon, Jonka, you guys got anything?
Well, the only thing I have to say, though, I'm not too surprised. I haven't seen Jones regard the defensive side of the ball in the past few years. Though, what was the last big-time signing, let alone extension on the defensive side of the ball for the Dallas Cowboys?
I have CeeDee Lamb's phone number. I can text him right now and ask him if
I'm telling you, CeeDee might be on silent for 30 seconds because
so if you want me to reach out and ask,
he ain't gonna give an answer. He's not going to give an anser. Not a soul on this earth will give an answer. There hasn't been a big extension since the 1990s for a defensive player in the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to have Dak Prescott before they have any other fan on earth go in that stadium.
Michael Parsons will
wait till week 1.
This is super random, but I was at FAU today shadowing, and they were doing media day for women's volleyball. And the guy that was shooting content was wearing an Eagles jersey behind the scenes, obviously. And one of the FAU volleyball players is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
There we go.
And then they were like, oh, like they were just chatting, like, you know, typical NFC East rivals. And then the guy was asking her, she was like, oh, so who's your favorite Cowboy? And she was like, CeeDee Lamb for sure. So I randomly told her, like, oh, you know, like this is super random, but I actually met CD at like a private party during F1 last year. And I have his number. And dude, I kid you not, this girl's like blowing up my phone on Instagram, like telling me to send him. I'm like, I'm not sending you his number, but like super random how like this whole thing ties in.
He's a little preoccupied right now building a bromance with George Pickens.
Right, literally.
But come on, Brandon, what kind of hate was that? That was some real hate right there.
That's not that. Look, I'm just being honest. What was the last time?
We've had some good defensive players throughout.
But have they been extended or re-signed big?
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Any other ones that aren't DeMarcus? From my recollection, the Dallas Cowboys care about offense. Their lineage has been offense, but their Super Bowl championship history has been defense, besides Troy Aikman, obviously, with Emmitt Smith. But again, I think Jerry Jones waiting very last second. I feel like he's one of those owners that sees positions as, well, you can't pay this specific position this amount of money because he has X amount of years. Same thing with running backs, same thing with corners, same thing with X, Y, and Z. I feel like that's one of those situations. How good are we going to have guys, whether you're a Mike, whether you're going to be linebacker, corner, whatever you are defensive-wise, how good in X amount of time? Not saying Micah doesn't deserve it because he does, but does Jerry think it's going to be a long-term?
I mean, I will say just 2 or 3 years ago, the Cowboys had a top 10 defense in the league. So
2 or 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago.
I will say, yeah, last year they had an off year. I will say that. But the year before that, I mean.
Who would you say – wait, hold on. Who would you say right now is the more toxic franchise? The Dolphins or the Dallas Cowboys? Like, or I'm sorry, I should probably rephrase that. Which team needs to win this year? Like, I'm win now mode.
Dolphins.
So you think if the Cowboys go, yeah, I'd probably say the Dolphins too, because Dallas has a first-year head coach. So
yeah, but I would also argue that at least the Cowboys have won playoff games, you know, throughout last couple of years. Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in a long time.
I mean, we haven't won a playoff game since I believe December 30th, 2000.
Yeah,
exactly.
But at least we have an owner who spends, you know, on the nice palm trees and the facility and a nice little, you know, and make sure all the grass isn't going brown.
Brought you F1.
Right. Brought us F1. Brought us Coldplay.
Pennies.
Brought us Taylor Swift.
You guys got that going.
I will say before we change the topic, I think
this is wait, hold on. 28 minutes later and Jonka's finally talking.
I'm not in the hottest of like, man, I'm not feeling so good today, so I'm just gonna speak as much as I can. I think Jerry Jones is in a really sticky situation because Michael Parsons right now, he wants an extension. Like you were talking about Brandon L. You had TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, all got paid. And I think TJ Watts was $41 million a year. Micah, just the way the NFL market works. I don't like it, but that's the way it works. You're gonna have to pay Micah.
It's all about resetting the market and resetting the market.
Yeah, it's whoever resets the market. It's gonna be above 41 for sure. Now we also have another one, Trey Hendrickson, that is in a drama with the Bengals. What is he gonna ask for? Now let's say, for example, they somehow get it done with Trey Hendrickson, 43. Is Jerry Jones going to pay Micah Parsons that much money if he continues to wait? And plus, let's say Micah goes off this year, like absolute bonkers, and goes like 30 sacks or 20 sacks and leads the league in sacks. There's no way you're paying him only 42. Just
now the market's if that's the case, now the market's going to reset even more.
That's the thing. And also Jerry Jones is like, okay, we offer your production, but like, if based on Jerry Jones's argument, then let him go. Because Micah Parsons can get injured next year. or the year after. So why pay him?
I mean, but I think the argument he was trying to make was just about any player because he said the same thing about Dak. It's this. I mean, you can say that for any sport. You can pay any player just a.
But let's be really honest too. Was that Prescott really worth $60 million?
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think Tua Tagovailoa is worth the money he got, but I think Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are worth the money that they got.
Yeah.
I just think Jerry Jones is butthurt off of what happened with Dak and paying him 60 and him continuously like underperforming and when it matters most. That when it comes to this situation now with Micah, he's like be more cautious on what deals I have to make and how much money it's going to be. Because now all of a sudden, if he gets injured, I get screwed over again as a business owner and like the owner of the team, and because of the cap. So now he has to work out, and plus you got $60 million with Dak, you got $35 million with CD or 36, and then now you got to pay Micah potentially $43-44 million.
I find it so funny how we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They just extended Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, bro.
Like out of any player that they could have extended. God damn it! Why didn't it just be Micah Parsons? And we don't have to talk about this anymore.
Micah Parsons is boiling after that contract. I know he's furious.
Hey, our boy is getting married to a Cavender twin. He needs his money. Leave him alone.
Man does not need that.
So is Carson Beck.
Carson Beck's a whole different situation, buddy.
Speaking of Carson Beck.
Speaking of Carson Beck and college football, I wasn't going to start with UM first. I was going to start with FIU because I know Jonka is going to want to go into more extra detail about UM, but let's take a look about FIU's schedule. There's an article on our website that was posted today. So week 1, they've got Bethune-Cookman at home. Do you boys think that the Panthers can beat Bethune-Cookman?
I mean, considering Bethune-Cookman's not in Division I, the FIU should start the season 1-0.
I agree.
That's one of those FBS, FCS, like.
You'd be surprised.
I'm not saying that it's going to be a walk in the park. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, it's not like Florida. Like I believe Florida's playing Long Island or some crazy school in week 1. I'm like, it should be 65-7. Like
before we continue, I just want to put out there, guys. I think that Willie Simmons has recruited better than McIntyre and has a better roster. Than I think FIU's had in a while.
Yes.
So I don't think comparing from what we saw last year, we can bring into this season. And I think since the roster's better, I think we could be more competitive. I think we're going to have more wins than we did last year. Well, we're going to see what we're going to keep going, Daniel. Keep going.
All right, so we're on agreement 1-0, right? I think that we're all going to be in agreement that week 2, it's going to be 1-1 because they're on the road against Penn State.
Oh, I'm taking I'm taking FIU. I'm going FIU the upset. You probably could buy a house if FIU beats Penn State in week 2.
Bro, I'm gonna be at that. Is that game at Penn?
It's at Penn State.
Of course. Why the hell would Penn State come to Florida International University?
If Penn State was to come here,
Westchester.
Bro, I'm gonna be celebrating at FIU if we pull off that upset. Let me tell you that much.
Wait, so if FIU beats Penn State, where's the celebration at? Tootsie's?
Everywhere.
It's at Jonka's house.
Yeah.
Right, literally. He lives like goddamn 5 minutes from the school.
You can walk to the football stadium. So celebrations at Jonka's. So okay, we're on agreement 1-1. Then they're right back at home for the rivalry Shula Bowl game against Florida Atlantic, and this one I can't. Like I just don't know because this game is hard to pin down, and FAU has, to be honest, FAU has dominated FIU in the last couple of years.
No, but this has to be a lights out game. This has to be lights out QB1 getting the job done. I like the Panthers in this one. We're hosting it. It's gonna be big. They gotta win a Shula Bowl at some point. So I think this is the big Simmons game that puts them on.
I don't think Frank Ford would like me that much if I go against him, so against his school. So I'm going to take FAU.
Jonka?
I'm gonna take FAU. Unfortunately, they have the more money, more recruiting, so it's gonna be an uphill battle. But
so they stay right at home for their they stay right at home, and they will be hosting Delaware. That's for me. That's a W for FIU.
That's another FCS school.
Yeah, first year as Division I. First year.
Yep.
This is their first year of Division I football.
First year Division I Conference USA football. It should be FIU all around, but again, I gotta see the team. I gotta see how this
Delaware Blue Hens just sounds cool. So with that, I'm just gonna go Delaware.
Jaka.
FIU. I'm checking right now on their recruiting, bro. Their recruiting is not that hot.
Jonka has his house probably on Florida International to have over whatever the win total is. Was it like 3.5, 4.5?
Yo, damn, bro.
Hey, man, don't make me whip out the time we beat Miami.
Hey, listen, I don't live in the past, so you can whip that out I'm just waiting for Carson Beck to drop 3 touchdowns on Notre Dame secondary in week 1.
All right, moving on. On the road, FIU against UConn.
UConn is actually very, very good now. Like, I never would have believed myself if I would have said, oh, UConn football. Like, they're not just a basketball school. They're, I believe last year, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they win like 8-9 games last year? UConn, someone can please check that because they blew out a lot of schools last year. Like, I'm definitely going UConn.
They got some big boys over there at UConn.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, I'm not even joking right now. Like,
Jonka's gonna get us that stat.
That UConn, I mean, the complete turnaround that program was gone. Because I believe when I was in like early undergrad, they were definitely like 1-11. Oh, and like they were bad. They were really
UConn bad. Went 9-4.
See, and I would have never believed that UConn basketball. Yes, I'd believe that they started the season 14-0, but UConn football, like, that's pretty damn impressive. So
Brandon L's going UConn. Brandon H.
I think there's a lot of seniors exiting that program. I think for FIU having the return, as Jonka said, the recruiting has been on a hot streak. And hypothetically, if you're going off that win against Delaware, you got to start off the road, right? I think FIU wins that one. We're talking about a 4-win FIU team going through basically October.
Jonka?
That's an upset.
That's an upset, bro. That's
like one of like Lee Corso's not so fast. Not so fast.
That's gonna be the tough one for this. A tough one for the season to win, but I don't see the Panthers yet on that level, so I'm gonna pick UConn.
Okay, then I don't know why, but every time I think of this team, I think of Brandon H. FIU on the road at Western Kentucky. I know he loves his Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I love the Hilltoppers, man. They got the best mascot in the game, man. They got
they really do.
I don't know what it is, man. It looked like the McDonald's. What was it? Grimace? It's like a red Grimace they got.
but just not purple.
Yes,
exactly. And similar to that, I think this is going to be a trap game. I think this is very misleading of a game against the Hilltoppers. I think FIU gets blown out in Kentucky at Western Kentucky. I think it's going to be a blowout for them.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think Western Kentucky's offense is going to be too strong. I don't think FIU is winning a lot of games this year. So save this video and burn it if they end up going like 8-4. But I don't think FIU is going to be that good this year. Under a first-year head coach is very tough too, and in a very tough conference. They also only won 4 games last year, so I guess maybe first-year head coach just win 5 games or get to a bowl game and win 6.
Can you tell me, Daniel, if that game is here or away?
That game is away.
I think the game was going to be closer than people think, but I think Western Kentucky, because it's at home, I'll give it to Western Kentucky, unfortunately.
Okay. Then they come right back home and they host Kennesaw State.
We taking that.
Yeah, I would go FIU. I believe Kennesaw State only won 1 game last year. Somebody want to check that road?
No, I think it was the game against us.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, I was pissed.
Yeah, and the worst part about it,
I used to know a girl who went to my high school who played soccer at Kennesaw. No, they were 2-10 last year.
2-10, but at the same time, it's on Vice night.
And FIU.
Yeah, this is going to be a game on Vice night. Everyone's going to be watching it nationally, obviously. The jersey is going to recirculate on your For You page nonstop. Unfortunately, that's also going to come with a final score of FIU losing this game. I believe those jerseys are cursed. I think the Lamborghini is cursed. I think that's going to be a loss, 2 straight losses for FIU.
No offense to Florida International, but why are we putting out Vice jerseys for our players to wear when we were 4-8 last year?
Let alone against, hold up, Kennesaw State is a Vice night. You're trying to tell me you got Jack State, let alone Liberty, who I think Liberty is going to be huge in Conference USA football coming up this year.
Yeah.
We don't have any of those games as the Vice game, but we got Kennesaw State. Are we expecting
that's what they try to do, though. They I would imagine the athletic department try to make it, let's put the easiest game on this. Like, that's what my high school used to do. My high school, you literally would do senior night, which was supposed to be the easiest game, and they would do like Pines Charter against Stranahan, and Stranahan would come to Pines Charter's field and blow us out like 45-7. Like, that's senior night. That's supposed to be the easiest game on your schedule.
Should be, but according to FIU, they're going to go out of their way and just waste it. I think it's going to be a loss in the Vice jerseys because I think they're cursed. But imagine that against Liberty, though. That would have been a hell of a Saturday.
Kennesaw is not going to win. I guarantee it.
Okay, Jonka's going FIU. All right.
Oh, Jonka's going over. Like, I'm going to look at what
FIU goes right back on the road, and they play Missouri State.
When?
W's.
Yeah, I'll go Florida International in that one, just so I'm not bashing the team too much.
Then they continue the road trip, and they play Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee's good. There was a punter, random story. There's a punter that sat outside the Miami Dolphins training facility. I think you guys saw him on Twitter, and he was asking for a punting job. He was asking for like a tryout, and I remember I did an interview with him, and I did a quick little feature story, and I asked him what school he went to, and he said Middle Tennessee. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Murfreesboro. Yeah. So shout out to him. I honestly don't remember his name, so I'm sorry.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Middle Tennessee on this one. Playing in Murfreesboro is always a very hard thing to do.
Florida International to win the Conference USA championship game, plus 1,500. The favorite, Liberty, plus 140.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I was looking throughout Middle Tennessee's schedule going towards basically that FIU game. They look like they're going to have a little bit of a weird feel right now to the season. They're going to have games similar to us with Penn State, a Big Ten matchup they're going to have against Wisconsin. We're talking about Marshall, Kennesaw State, Nevada. A lot of these games on the road. So this is going to be an exhausted team, I think, by the time they play against FIU. I got FIU coming out squeaking by in this one on a win.
Okay, Jonka?
I think Middle Tennessee has more depth than FIU does at the moment. So I'm picking Middle Tennessee.
All right.
And I think the last time they matched up was in 2023, and the Middle Tennessee won 40-6. So
we've got 3 games left. Panthers right back at home, and they host Liberty. Now, this is a game last year, Panthers against Liberty. FIU taking it overtime and almost beating Liberty on their home field.
I mean, there will be a little revenge. Is the game at Pitbull Stadium? Okay, yep. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I would just go out of my way and say they will probably, in my world, they would have already 6 wins. So they don't even care about it at this point. I think Liberty blows the hell out of them.
Yeah, I'm going to go Liberty, and I don't think FIU is winning 6 games this year.
Jonka?
I got FIU winning it here, bro. That game last year is that's one of the other games that pissed me off, bro. I think we had it, bro.
So They continue at home. This is the last home game of the season against Jacksonville State.
Loss.
Yeah.
Loss.
I
think I named FIU like 3 or 4 wins on the schedule.
John,
if I remember correctly, yeah, Jacksonville State it's pretty tough. I'll give it to them. Yeah.
So final game of the season for the Panthers is on the road, and it's against Sam Houston.
Again, already in my world, the 6-win FIU team. It's going to stay at 6. I got them losing 3 straight to end the year, losing it on the road to Sam Houston.
Okay.
I'm falling asleep going over the schedule.
There's no way that FIU loses to Sam Houston after, again, last year's
Sam Houston State's not a bad
7 game, bro. 10-7. No way. We're beating that ass.
You took the under last year or the over?
I don't remember last year, bro. I'm fried. Last year's something is old, bro. Last year's old, bro. We got a new coach, better recruiting, better everything, baby. Let's go.
All right. So this leaves us for the
we probably should just like do the UM schedule and then save the Marlins for another day because they lost 7-1 tonight, I believe it was. So it's probably
last time I checked it was 7-0.
7-1.
Yeah,
they lost 7-1.
Gotten at least one.
Tough loss against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Which
remember the trade deadline? We could talk about it real quick. The trade deadline is this week, so that's not a good start when you have the trade deadline this upcoming Thursday.
Catholics versus convicts to open up the season. Notre Dame against the Miami Hurricanes. Give me the Fighting Irish. I'm going them 1-0 over the Miami Hurricanes.
Why is everybody like sold on this Notre Dame? I'm hearing things like Notre Dame's that are go undefeated. They don't even have a quarterback right now. Like, who's their starting quarterback? They have a solid running game. I will Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, that guy's good.
I will agree with that. The Miami Hurricanes can win this game if they stop the run. I think in the Carson Beck era, give me the Hurricanes. Little mini upset. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect the U and say, remember the last time Notre Dame came to Hard Rock Stadium?
I was there.
Smacked him in the mouth. It was bad. It was bad. I know it was 2017, but you best believe all this nonsense talk that's been surrounding Carson Beck all offseason. Don't think that he hasn't been listening.
Tell you what, he ain't no Cam Ward though.
No, he's not. And I will agree that the Hurricanes have a huge downgrade at quarterback for sure. And he even said it during his ACC. No, but he even said it during his ACC media day that he understands all the accolades that Cam Ward produced last year. But I'm not going to sit here and say Carson Beck's a bad quarterback. Let's not. Again, we're not going to talk about it tonight, but let's not forget about all the drop passes that Georgia's wide receivers had last year. This is before Carson Beck got hurt in the SEC title game. Like, a lot of drop balls, a lot. Go look at the game against Clemson. Go look at the game against other SEC schools. I want you guys to look at that and look at all the drop balls they had. Colby Young. Go look at the balls that Colby Young dropped.
Mr. Interception himself has somehow came to my child. And the worst part about it, I grew up right outside Hard Rock Stadium. I hate Notre Dame to the boil of me. My NCAA 26 dynasty team right now is Purdue, and I try my best to get the freaking trophy against Notre Dame every single time. I despise gold. I won't even look at something that's Irish. I don't even wear a Celtic anything for an entire month until that game in August. Unfortunately, though, I just don't see where you have a first-year defensive coordinator. We don't really know what the defense looks like, especially against a top 5, top 10 talented team like this. I don't know what we're going to see out of Miami, and I don't think Miami even knows what the hell they are right now. I got Notre Dame winning this one. Unfortunately, kills me to say it. I think it's too soon for, Miami is back again. Either Carson Beck or not.
20th, 200th time since 2001.
Yeah.
Bethune-Cookman, we all agree that's going to be a victory for Miami.
Yes.
South Florida, that's going to be a victory for Miami, I would say. I think it's a little bit tougher, but I think it's a victory for Miami.
The most interesting thing I would say about that game, though, Byron Brown against Carson Beck. Now, a lot of people are saying Brown is supposed to have a huge 2025 season for South Florida. So early in the year, if there is a trap game for Miami that's not ACC relevant, this is that game.
That's the same team that does the no huddle offense where it's continuously nonstop. And that all that does is just try to get the defense all cluttered and mixed up to create plays. But 2 years straight being it, so I don't think it's going to be much of a difference. But
here's going to be the good one for you, Brandon H. The Gators and the Canes meeting once again after last year's debacle for the Gators. Do you think they have a shot this year?
I like the idea that Graham Mertz isn't on this team anymore. But besides that, I think when you look at UF right now, obviously Billy Napier, he's been recruiting as good as anybody right now in the SEC, but with such a young roster offensively, though, because the talent is there, but is the will there, right? We saw DJ Lagway go in Jacksonville and compete real well against Georgia. Even in injured, the Scrappy Gators were close enough to get within striking distance at the end of the fourth quarter. I think when you look at this Gators team and you look at what happened at the end of the year, you're coming off a good hump, but now they're saying reports that Lagway's got something of lower body injuries, which is, again, no concern apparently, but you got that going on right now. We got seventh years guys going back to the secondary. So do the Gators go in Hard Rock and win it? Yes, I think the Gators do go in Hard Rock and win it. I think the Gators win that one. It's going to be a big Lagway showcase. And if you really want to see what's going on the offensive side of the ball in the state of Florida, it comes from the University of Florida. So I got Gators winning that.
This is one of the better quarterback matchups that I'm looking forward to on Miami's schedule. Obviously, DJ Lagway, probably, if he's not the best quarterback in the SEC, he's the second best. If he's not the second best, he's definitely in that top three category. And then obviously, Carson Beck. First time Florida's coming to Hard Rock Stadium since 2013. And I know Brandon doesn't want to talk about it, but Florida turned the ball over, I believe, like 5 or 6 times. Like there was a lot of chance. Like Florida could have blown them out the door. That was like Duke Johnson, like Philip Dorsett. I don't remember my Miami's quarterback. I don't know Steven. I don't remember his name. Stephen Morris, right? Like that's how long it's been. I like the Hurricanes. I think I don't know. Florida, as we know, is a very tough schedule this year. I don't even have to mention Ole Miss, Texas. I mean, I can go on and on. At Texas A&M, I believe. So yeah, give me UM. I don't see UM losing a game until probably at SMU. That's probably the one game that I see them losing. But not to sound like a complete homer, I think Miami's going to be very good this year. I like that. I like their first-year defensive coordinator came from Minnesota.
Corey Heatherman?
Yeah. And I just think – I mean, they also – remember, too, not that I want to talk about next year because I'm going off topic, but they got the number 1 recruit in Jackson Cantwell. So –
shout out Kyle Lincoln for my friend there. He's his agent, so
John,
give me the U.
You think you're beating the Gators?
I didn't know my take for the Notre Dame game. Listen,
I mean, I had to do it once.
Here's my take for the Notre Dame one and the Gators. These are non-conference games. These only affect like later in the season when the rankings really do matter. It's not whether you lose, it's how you lose. If you get blown out, that loss is gonna kind of hinder you at the end if you're trying to get into the playoffs. But if you, let's say for example, UM and Notre Dame, it's like a 23-20 game by a field goal, and it was close all game. It was really good between those two teams. That is more respectable loss than getting blown out. And then also for the Gators, like Brandon said, Brandon H. I think they've been really good at recruiting, bro. I was shocked. Like months ago, bro. Like I think in 1 week they had like 10 commits. It was crazy. My phone was blowing up. But I just think that all those commits are not going to be playing all at once. They don't have the experience, and they have players that are coming from different schools for the transfer portal and stuff. So that's the one thing that could hinder them is the experience from the new recruits. I know. I mean, I'm not saying that's gonna be the difference maker, but I think Miami has more veterans and the experience from last year. But we did lose a lot of offense with Restrepo and Cam Ward, Damian Martinez. I think this game could be close, but to me, it doesn't matter winning those games. It's all you can do is just focus on the ACC, period. If you win the ACC, you're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. So I feel like Mario Cristobal is kind of like looking forward to the ACC matchups less than like Notre Dame and the Gators, but I feel like those two games do matter in a sense. If you want to like at least get into the top echelon, at least get a first round bye or something like that.
I mean, you start ACC play right after against Florida. You start ACC play against Florida State, your rivals.
Well, we go from a bye week, then Florida State, and then another bye week. So it's like that's a 3-week span where we only play one game.
Miami
then
also
leading
has
into
a very, but we also have a very interesting schedule this year. I believe 8 home games and 4 road games. Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken, had that similar schedule last year, and they ended up winning the whole thing. Not saying that Miami's going to win the whole thing this year, but I'm just saying that weird. Everyone's always been asking, "Oh, why does Miami only have four road games?" Well, having 8 home games, I can tell you right now, is definitely in your favor.
So Seminoles, is that a victory for the Canes?
Easy.
I think I would say the Florida State Seminoles are probably the worst out of all those 3. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then they are playing Louisville.
That's going to be a tough team. I know it's at Hard Rock. Louisville's a good team. Last year when they played in Louisville, it was a back and forth shootout.
No, remember the defense was ass.
Yeah.
No, right, and that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm so looking forward to this Corey.
Yeah, I agree.
Is because everyone, like, I know we passed it, but like this Notre Dame, you stopped the run. Like, I'm curious to see what he has followed up. I mean, give me the U. I believe that's also a Friday game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to wear like their all black jerseys or whatever special jersey they have.
This whole season, besides Carson Beck and the offense with these newer receivers coming out from the seconds, it's all based on what the defense can provide. The defense can be what we expected it to be last year and actually handle their business. We should have been Louisville by like 30. We should have been Syracuse. We had a 21-0 lead against Syracuse. But because the defense couldn't cover a blanket from their bed, they just lost. And then you had that situation with Virginia Tech where it came out to the wire. Cal coming out, the major comeback with Cal at the very last second. Like, there were so many close games was because the defense could not handle situations like that in close games. Now, if Corey had them in the new DC, does have this team ready to go and with a new scheme, which is easier to understand and better communication, I think this team could get over 8 wins, maybe possibly double digits again, which would be great to see. Double digit for 2 years straight, which I don't know how long that hasn't happened. I think that hasn't happened in like the early 2000s.
Then there's a snooze fest against Stanford. I think we all think that that's going to be a victory for Miami over Stanford. Then they play SMU. I think this is where Brandon says that they could get a loss.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the tougher games. I also believe is Rhett Lashley still there? Former Miami.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's the head coach.
Former Miami head coach. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Rhett Lashley was not the head coach at Miami. OC. Yeah, I mean, the current line, I don't want to go off it by betting, but the current line, I believe, is Miami -1 and a hook. So it's basically a toss-up. Obviously, you got to see if there's any key players injured. So obviously, I mean, God willing, if Carson Beck's hurt, then I mean, I would imagine.
I think the line is so close just because of what happened last year. But I just think they lost a lot of good players to SMU.
I'll go at SMU, but I won't be surprised if Miami wins. Miami, I don't think they'll go undefeated. But if I say they're going to go undefeated, everyone's going to come attack me and say,
I don't even know who's their no disrespect to SMU. I like SMU low key. But I don't know who their quarterback is. Can you guys tell me who their quarterback is?
It does not matter. They're going to get blown out. I'm telling you now, with them in Indiana, that's a lot of the playoffs. So look at this team. We've seen this with TCU. We've seen it with many other teams. UCF, SMU is that next one of that lineage. They're going to get blown out by the Canes.
Kevin Jennings and former Miami Hurricane Tyler Van Dyke.
They're going to get blown out. That's a guarantee.
I thought Tyler Van Dyke was at IU. That's weird.
I didn't even think Van Dyke was still in college. Holy crap.
Well, we're moving on to Syracuse. Victory
That's
for
going to
Miami
be
over
a
the 'Cuse.
drama, bro. I'm telling you, that game is going to be drama after what happened last year.
But
Miami
Common
having
Core's not there anymore, so maybe
a 21-0 lead and losing it, and basically losing the chance to go to the ACC championship game. I think Cristobal has that game circled because he wants that game, especially that we just lost a top 5-star recruit, Calvin Russell, to them. If we can beat their ass,
my buddy Adam is a Syracuse student, so I mean, shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, if this is another home game, Miami has 8 home games this year. So I'm gonna go with the U, and obviously a revenge game because we all know what happened in the
Is that a home game? Because I remember
it is a home game.
Yeah, because it was.
Okay.
Yeah, Saturday. Not yet given a specific time, but I'm telling you right now, from as Jonka said, recruiting drama, obviously revenge game. Obviously, this is the team. I think one of the dark horses in the ACC.
Now
this is a do or die.
They did lose Kyle McCord.
Yes,
I will say that as their quarterback.
But hey, again, recruitment-wise, they've been cooking in South Florida. If Cristobal wants to lock in South Florida recruitment, especially in his own conference in the ACC, you got to stop the team from Empire State. You got to stop Syracuse somehow, some way. So this is a big game for the Canes.
But isn't that also, and I know it's not a conference game, what about Florida? Because, I mean, if you dominate Florida the way they did last year.
I wouldn't – look, I think the biggest thing, though, because, again, as I mentioned before, ACC recruitment in South Florida, if you got a team like Syracuse, a program like Syracuse, way out of their way where they're playing in a basketball dome, out recruiting you, that's an issue. So if Cristobal can't win out these games, I wouldn't even worry about Florida. I wouldn't even worry about these other teams. I don't even think it matters. Because, again, the SEC, ACC, that's 2 different stones.
To me, I think all that stuff doesn't matter anymore because every school has like their certain limit on how much money they can spend. If you're going to give, let's say, a receiver $1 million to play at Miami and Syracuse comes in from New York and say, hey, I'm going to offer you 2. Like, it doesn't even matter if you're from Miami at that point. It's like, damn, bro, they're offering me $1 million more to play. Like, why not go to Syracuse? I feel like that's one of the things in the landscape of NIL changes is that hometown discounts don't matter anymore.
Final 3 games of the season. There's NC State for the Hurricanes.
Tough.
Should be a win, though. I think it'll be a shootout.
Yeah.
Shootout? Dang.
I would say so. Like similar to what we saw with Louisville last year with the Canes, where it's like, wow, this is a really entertaining game. I think that'll be the same energy in this one.
The only thing I look forward to that game is Kevin Concepcion, the receiver, and then the quarterback CJ Bailey, who was at Shannon Madonna with Jeremiah Smith and JoJo. So that would be nice to see how he plays.
Jeremiah Smith, man, getting some love here in Broward County.
I actually think the final 2 games of the regular season for the Hurricanes are losses. And that would be against Virginia Tech. Don't mean that face. You know, when you guys go up there to Blacksburg, Virginia, you kids can't handle garbage up there.
Virginia Tech in Blacksburg is tough to play away. Especially, is that a night game or the time hasn't come out?
I don't think any of these times are official. I think they honestly just want to. If Miami is 5-5, they're not going to make it a primetime game.
Yeah.
If Miami's 10-0, then yeah, it might get obviously the 7:30 slot.
So yeah, there's Virginia Tech. I'm going with a loss.
Yeah, that's going to be a big trap game, especially with Sandman, as I believe that's their entrance, right? Sandman. Yeah, so that it is one of the coolest environments in college football. That and Penn State whiteout game.
I can see us losing Virginia Tech.
I can see us losing that. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think we could get that Virginia Tech game is a trap game. I
could see the Virginia Tech game being a loss, but I definitely think Miami would bounce back and beat Pitt. I mean, they can go 1-1 in this final 2. I don't think they're losing both.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way there too. And also, I mean, again, because me and Jonka experienced it ourselves, Virginia Tech puts you through a whole heart race. Like they were such a weird team to stop.
Let's all remember the defense was dookie, bro.
Yeah, they were bad. They were bad defense. But again, honestly, these 2 games will will they make the playoffs or not?
Yeah.
Not just the ACC championship. Will they make the playoffs or not?
So let's just give a quick bold prediction. Are the Miami Hurricanes, where do you see them this year? Do you see them in the ACC championship game? Do you see them in the college football playoff for the first time in school history? Do you see them only winning 7-8 games? I mean, where do you guys see this? A big year for head coach Mario Cristobal and obviously transfer quarterback Carson Beck. Where do you see this UM squad?
I see UM going down their same path that they have for the last 20 years of the fans getting excited. I know it very well as a Cowboys fan. You have talent, but can't do anything with it.
All right, wait. Hold on. I just want you to say the same thing. So when we're here in January.
I will proudly say it. You know why? Because it's been the same movie every single year for the Miami Hurricanes. You could have done it last year. You didn't, but you guys will say, oh, the excuse was a first-year head coach. But yes, I see them being a good team, but not being just enough.
I really do believe when you look at the Hurricanes, enough is enough. I think enough is enough. They should be at the ACC championship game, let alone should win the ACC championship game against Clemson. And yes, Clemson, I'm expecting to come back as well to the ACC championship game. I think that team is too dominant to not be there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely Clemson returning Cade Klubnik, you would definitely have to put them in that spot. But, I mean, I'm going to sit here and say the Hurricanes are the second best team. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen with Carson. God forbid he goes down in week 1, then this whole conversation is absolutely meaningless.
Yeah.
But if the Hurricanes are rolling like they were last year, I don't need Carson Beck to put up Cam Ward numbers. As long as the Hurricanes are winning football games when it matters most, winning all your conference games.
Wait, second best team in what?
In the conference.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there and saying second best team in college.
No. Not even like
Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Alabama. Yeah. I mean, no.
Not even with 4-leaf clovers and the Dragon Balls that you think we're gonna be the second best team in college.
But I mean, they could, again, they're probably listening to our podcast right now and a million others, and we're all talking like this, and they're probably laughing behind closed doors. So again, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Tua Tagovailoa this year. I don't know what's going to happen with Carson Beck this year. Like, it's the same mantra.
Jonka, you have the final say of the evening.
As I did last year, I'm going to take this season even less seriously. I'm just going to take it game by game. I'm not going to care what happens. It happens to happen. I'm 27, and nothing's happened for 27 years to me that I've noticed. So I'm more focused on NFL this year, but for what I think that the Canes are going to do, if it does not matter what happens with Notre Dame or with the Gators, because those are non-conference games, same with Bethune-Cookman and
South Florida
and USF. If they just handle their business with the ACC, and hopefully they get rid of they don't get the injury bug. Knock on wood. They go to the ACC championship game, probably most likely against Clemson, because I think SMU is going to regress this year because of how much talent they lost. I think it's going to be between Clemson and Miami for the top spot in the ACC. Now, last time Miami played Clemson, we did beat them in overtime. Now, that was with Emory Williams at quarterback. It's tough. It really is tough. Now, this is when it comes into play. Do they make the college football playoff? Now that's when you bring in the Notre Dame game and the Gator game, expecting that you do beat Bethune-Cookman.
Well, right. I mean, they're going to have to – if they split, then it's possible. If they go 0-2 and then start losing conference games, then obviously not. But if they go 2-0, you start the season 1-0 with a really good Notre Dame team who's coming off, obviously, a college football national championship loss. That's a really good start. And again,
what time is that?
Haven't been revealed yet, but that's a really good start.
At what time is that Notre Dame game?
7 o'clock.
7? Damn, I wish it would have been at 12. The heat would have really been useful for us.
Yeah, but I feel like a night game, I mean, students are going to be out. It's syllabus week or around that time. Like, that's a game, honestly, they need to market the crap out of it. Like, you need all your students there. That's a big game. Again, they were 1 win away from winning the whole freaking thing last year.
I think a lot of people are going to show up. It's the first game of the year, so
right. Like, you need whether you're intoxicated, I mean, you got to show up. Just show up. Just stream all night. Like no one.
Ankle bracelets.
Right.
Inflammation, whatever you need.
All right,
show up.
Relax, PG.
That's going to do it for us tonight. We hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's episode. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next week for a brand new episode.